never thought that bathroom habits would become one of the biggest problems in my marriage. But here we are. My husband is 36. I'm 36 too. We've been together for 11 years, married for 7, and we have a 3.5-year-old son. Lately, I've been asking myself a question I never expected to ask. Can I really have another baby with this man? And weirdly enough, a lot of that question comes down to how much time he spends in the bathroom. Now, before anyone laughs, I know how ridiculous that sounds, but stay with me. Because this isn't really about pooping, it's about responsibility and about feeling like you're raising a child with someone who disappears exactly when you need them most. For context, both of us work full-time. Life is busy. Our son wakes up early every morning like most toddlers do. And mornings are chaos. Breakfast, getting dressed, brushing teeth, packing snacks, finding shoes that mysteriously disappear overnight. All of it. And almost every single morning, right as our son wakes up. My husband goes to the bathroom, not for 5 minutes, not even for 15, for an hour every morning and every afternoon after lunch, and every evening right around bath time and bedtime. 3 bathroom trips a day, about an hour each, so that's roughly 3 hours a day. And somehow, those 3 hours always fall exactly during the hardest parts of parenting: morning routine, dinner time, bedtime, the times when you actually need 2 adults. Now, technically, he says it's not all bathroom time. He'll tell you it's like 30 minutes on the toilet and then a long shower because he feels gross. So maybe it's 40 minutes, maybe 50, but still, it's a huge chunk of the day. And what drives me crazy is that when we actually need to go somewhere, like an appointment or a family event, somehow we can adjust. He can go earlier or later or skip it. So clearly his body isn't completely locked into this schedule, but on normal days, it magically lines up with the busiest moments. Because of this, most of the parenting falls on me. I wake up with our son. I get him dressed. I pack his things for preschool. Most mornings, my husband might drive him to school, but only after I've already gotten everything ready. Evenings are the same. Bath time, pajamas, bedtime stories. Most nights that's me too, unless I purposely wait for my husband to finish his bathroom marathon. But that usually means our son goes to bed later than I'd like. So most of the time, I just handle it myself. And over time, that builds resentment. A lot of resentment, especially after having our first child. I'm actually in therapy right now trying to work through it, because I know resentment can destroy a marriage if you let it sit there long enough. But it's hard not to feel it when it seems like the person who's supposed to be your partner keeps disappearing when things get hard. For the past 2 years, we've been talking about having another baby, or at least I've been thinking about it. I actually delayed the conversation for a long time because my husband's job situation wasn't stable. He was considering changing jobs, and we didn't want to add another baby into that uncertainty. But now his career is stable. Things should feel like the right time. And when I bring up the idea of another baby, he always says the same thing. It's up to you, which sounds supportive, but it's not really. Because our son has started asking for a sibling, specifically a baby sister. And apparently several kids in his preschool have baby sisters. So now he asks about it. And every time he does, my husband says, well, that depends on mommy. And that hurts. Because it doesn't actually depend on me. It depends on both of us. The truth is, the issues we had after our first baby were never fully resolved. The biggest one being that my husband just doesn't seem proactive. If I don't ask him to do something, he often doesn't think it needs to be done. It's like he doesn't naturally step into parenting responsibilities. He waits to be told. And I don't want to spend the rest of my life managing another adult, especially if we have 2 kids. Because right now, I can barely imagine handling 2 children when he disappears for 3 hours every day. At one point, I asked him something very directly. I said, "How exactly are we supposed to handle a newborn if you're in the bathroom during the 3 most chaotic parts of every day?" And his answer was, "My parents could help." Now, here's the problem. His parents live 2 hours away. 2 hours. This isn't a situation where they can just swing by in the evening. And even if they could, the solution to our parenting problem shouldn't be outsourcing the work to someone else. But that was his first idea, his only idea, and that honestly broke my heart a little, because it felt like he didn't even understand the real issue. I even suggested he talk to a doctor. Maybe something digestive was going on. He said he already had before. And according to him, everything is normal, although he does have hemorrhoids. Pretty bad ones. So I know going to the bathroom isn't exactly comfortable for him. I know he's in pain, and I know he really is using the bathroom, but still, the timing and the length and the phone. Because yes, the phone is always there, streaming YouTube, scrolling, watching videos. We even bought a bidet 2 years ago, still sitting in the box, uninstalled. He says it wouldn't help anyway because he prefers showering afterward. He says it makes him feel cleaner. He's also convinced that he has some kind of fungal rash caused by splashback. I've tried explaining that showering multiple times a day might actually be damaging his skin barrier, but he doesn't really listen. The situation gets even more frustrating when I travel for work. About 4 times a year, I have to leave for 3 or 4 days. Every time that happens, my husband immediately calls his parents to come stay with him and help with our son. And whenever I point out that he doesn't step up the way I do when I'm home, he says something like, "Well, you're gone all the time for work," which is ridiculous. 4 trips a year is not all the time. I've even tried talking to his parents about it. That didn't go well. His mom basically says I should just be patient. She says I need to teach him. She even once described him as a kind of dumb, but insisted he's not doing anything intentionally. And then she said something that really stuck with me. She said kids naturally want their moms more anyway, so it's normal that I'm doing most of the work. Meanwhile, my own mom says, all men are like that. But my dad isn't. My dad isn't the most emotionally aware guy in the world. But he fixes everything in the house, manages the cars, handles repairs. He contributes. My husband doesn't really do those things either. At this point, I feel stuck. Part of me wants to believe we can fix this. Part of me wants to keep the family we built together. Because I do want 2 kids. We don't have much family in the United States. And I want our son to have someone in his life who is always there, someone who shares his childhood, someone who understands his family. But another part of me is starting to realize something painful. This isn't really about the bathroom anymore. It's about patterns. It's about excuses. It's about waiting for the right time that never seems to come. I waited 2 years to have this conversation with him. 2 years thinking there would eventually be a perfect moment. And when it finally came, his response just left me feeling sad and disappointed. Because sometimes the issue isn't the thing you're arguing about. Sometimes the issue is realizing that the person you're arguing with doesn't see the problem the same way you do. And if they don't see the problem, they're probably not going to fix it. And that's the part that scares me the most. What would you do if you were in my place? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe for more real stories like this.